This next movement is going to be a variation on a heel raise. This is one that a patient actually helped me come to the idea with, so I want to thank Christina Lopez for this exercise. This was partially her idea. So we found that if doing a heel raise here hurts or causes, recreates, whether it's plantar fascia pain or pain on the inside of the ankle, coming a little bit wider, one, it binds up a little bit more tension on the muscles on the inside of my legs, and it also forces me to put a little bit more pressure on my big toe, because the wider my foot goes out to the side, I kind of set myself up to my ankles to be turned in, especially if my feet are touching the floor, which is ideally what I'm looking for most of the time. I want to get people to feel pressure here and not so much on the outside of their foot. So holding on to something for balance, maybe a counter, anything that they can grab a hold of. And maybe with a little bit of a toe out position. I like to have people engage their stomach to make sure their back's not just falling into this arch. So a little bit of trying to tuck your butt underneath you, and maybe even a little bit of tension, like I'm trying to pull my feet towards each other, but the friction of my foot on the ground kind of stops it from moving. So I create a little tension in my inner thigh and a little bit of tension in my stomach. And I may start here by just pressing through my big toe and doing a little bit of a pulse. So I'll start in a short range here to where I'm not really moving into a deep stretch. And the goal with this is to see, can I start to feel this inside of my calf, or like something through the inside of my foot working without pain. And I would do this more in a short range for endurance. So I would have a patient press into their hands, kind of pull their pelvis underneath them, a little bit of tension in my inner thighs, and then just a light press. And I would start off with anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes, with the goal of, can I get fatigued more up in the inside of the calf without any foot pain? And if they get to 2 minutes and this is fine, well, I may start having them gradually work closer to where the threatening position is. So maybe we'll decrease. Same concepts though, pressure on the big toe, a little bit of tension in my stomach, and same thing, I'm lightly almost pulling inward on my legs without letting my knees necessarily collapse. So I still have my knees out, but I'm very lightly almost trying to like slide my foot in, but it doesn't move. So I have this kind of tension coming down through the whole inside of my thighs. And just a small pulse as I push through my big toe. And this is something that I'll gradually work from wide to this more feet under me position. Always looking for that 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And if I get to the point where this is fine, I may start to then apply it to an actual walking or stride position. So if my problem foot is my right foot, I'll get myself staggered. I'll think about that same pulling inward. And then if I start, say, with most of the weight on my front foot, maybe I start to shift the weight more onto my back. So I have like 75% of the weight here. And now I'm trying the same thing, just a small range pump. My back knee is straight. This is another position where I can kind of adjust, right? Like if you look at me from the side, the more that my body is here, there's less weight on my back foot, less pressure on my calf and toe. The more I go back, the more of a challenge. So I kind of start taking myself into a little bit of like a single leg heel raise or single leg pump position, really trying to keep the weight through my big toe and feel this on the inside of my calf. So it's a nice way to progress into loading the calf, loading the inside of the calf and muscles that support the arch of the foot, and progressing more towards a functional walking position. From here, obviously decreasing the distance. I'm now putting that in a little bit more of a stretch, which more closely mimics what I need to do to take a step as I want to push through that big toe. But the further back I go, the more tension on everything, so the more likely I may get some pain in my plantar fascia or in a tendon attachment if that area is already sore.